And this is North Platte in a nutshell, and here's what's going on this weekend, as well as other various topics I'm sure we're going to end up talking about. Right? Something.
Yeah, we always do.
Always do. So, let's go ahead and just start with what's going on this weekend. North Platte Rec Center, their daytime playtime is back. That starts at 9 a.m. That's for little kids, 4, 5, 3. They have like inflatables and carts and balls and stuff in the gym area. You don't have to be a member to go, and it's a lot of fun for the kids.
You do have to pay the daily rate, but...
Yeah, but it's not much. It's really not that much.
And it is meant for, like, toddlers. It's not meant for, like, the older kids, because it's during the middle of the day, or the middle of the morning, I should say, so... School kids are obviously at school.
Right. If you're one of those parents at homeschool and you have a kid that's like 7 or something, don't. Let them swim, or something like that.
That's exactly what I was
like,
take them swimming.
But yeah, this is meant for really smaller kids, but it is a lot of fun, so I recommend you take your kids to that. Attitude Salon, they're doing a food drive. This is going on until the 14th of November, so from now until then, they're collecting canned good items, non-perishables, that kind of stuff. And when people think non-perishables, they think canned goods. Peanut butter, I believe like mac and cheese, things like that, dry goods. Rice-a-roni, stuff like that. I don't either. I have, but I prefer not to.
Exactly.
But I mean, still, you can buy that stuff and don't. I mean, our opinion, don't. Somebody out there might be like, I love rice-a-roni.
My husband loves rice-a-roni.
Yeah.
I just don't cook it.
See, we have differing opinions in my house on mac and cheese. Like, I don't mind Kraft, and the kids, they don't care. They'll eat. It's mac and cheese. My wife wants to get that, like, what is it? Annie's, I think. It's like 50 cents more.
Oh, yeah?
It's supposed to be all organic, and I'm not exactly sure how cheese powder is organic.
Okay, so we don't actually buy the packets or anything. I just go old school and make it, like, from scratch.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. So, but, like, pasta, things like that. Like, I mean, those can be considered non-perishable. So.
And this is definitely the time of year where a lot of these canned food drives are going to be going on. We have Thanksgiving coming up here fairly quickly. I can't believe how fast that's coming up.
It's so quick.
So there's going to be a lot of people who are going to be asking for donations so that they can give families in need definitely some Thanksgiving dinner items. And then, of course, we're into Christmas, and that's always a big time of year to be able to give to a number of different charities, food pantries, whatever it may be.
Right. Now, every time you donate an item, you get entered into a raffle for, I have it written down here,
$50 gift certificate.
Yeah, $50 gift certificate to Attitudes, and they have additional raffle tickets for sale, I think $1 a piece. So, I mean, that's just more incentive for you to give, but the big thing should be to just give.
Yeah.
So, and I know that these food pantries, because we used to do a canned food drive at the station, talked to the guy who ran it, and he said around this time of year, they get hit hard because of the holidays. So, they're, please give as much as you can. So stop by Attitudes and drop off that. Again, that's going on, I believe now, but definitely this weekend to the 14th. So
PAC, the Art Center, is having a floral interpretation exhibit. Mm-hmm. I don't know what that means, but it sounds interesting.
It's art with flowers, basically. People take flowers and arrange them in artistic ways.
Okay, I'd be interested in seeing that.
Yeah, so if you want to check that out, you can do that at Prairie Arts Center. Also, open mic at the Espresso Shop on Friday night. That starts at 7. And then, for those who are a little, maybe you're sports-minded, the North Platte Community College Lady Knights and Knights basketball teams, they have a couple of doubleheaders this weekend. Friday, they're taking on Eastern Wyoming College. Women's game begins at 5, and then the men's game will follow that. And then on Saturday night, they're taking on Laramie County Community College.
That's Cheyenne.
Cheyenne. It's located in Cheyenne, but it's Laramie County.
Well, it's because Cheyenne's in Laramie County.
Right, exactly. So, in that game on Saturday,
I know that.
she almost went there. We were talking about that off air.
Yeah.
So,
I have a choice.
Women's game starts at 2, and then again, men's game follows right after that. So, Saturday, and again, you mentioned Thanksgiving's coming up. Christmas. I'm one of those people that I get through Thanksgiving first before I start worrying about Christmas.
Yeah.
But if you're one of those people that's just like, Christmas! And I know so many people like that, it annoys the hell out of me.
Yeah.
St. Patrick's Christmas Boutique. That's this Saturday at St. Patrick's Church. Starts at 9. There's a sit-down lunch at 11. handcrafted items, home-based businesses, and do some, shop local and do some Christmas shopping.
This is definitely the time of year for craft shows, and then home-based businesses. So like your Scentsies, your my essential oil people, all of those.
Yeah.
Yes, all of those. This is definitely that time of year to be able to kind of get out and go see all those.
Right.
So the Eagles Auxiliary Craft Show will actually be on Saturday as well, and that starts at 10. I'm assuming it's at the Eagles Club.
Yeah.
Eagles.
And then karaoke at another round. That's on Saturday night.
And then Sunday we have a chili cook-off at Platte River Mall starting at 4:30.
And the Sandhill Symphony at North Platte High School, that's beginning at 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
If you have never been to one of these symphonies, I highly recommend going to it. It is such a unique treasure that we have in this area. For people, and definitely adults, to be able to take that hobby that they had that when they were kids, to be able to continue that on. And it's really, really great.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's some entertainment around town. There's some shopping you can do. There's chili cook-offs and sports and giving, being charitable. So there's all sorts of stuff you can do this weekend. As we get closer to the holidays, of course, there's going to be more, like when Christmas at the Cody starts up, when Christmas at Cody Park starts up. There's going to be so
downtown
much more.
stuff. Oh my God.
Downtown stuff.
So much.
Speaking of which, good segue. Or as we used to call it in radio, a segue. The North Platte City Council actually approved the plans. For those of you who saw an episode we did, not this last one about the strange deaths, but the one before was Shay talking about downtown and the fountain and everything else. She had me hold up a poster of their plans of downtown. Mm-hmm. We discussed that. They went to the City Council, and the City Council approved the work. I mean, they're going to start working on the roads. They're going to start hanging those lights like she said. I mean, it sounds like, from everything I've been able to read and gather from the news, they said yes to pretty much all of her plans.
Yeah.
Which is fantastic news for downtown merchants, for the city of North Platte. Congratulations to Shay and everybody who put work into that.
Absolutely.
It sounds like some, again, people need to be patient, but changes are coming.
Well, and I feel like it's starting to pick up too. And I feel
Mm-hmm.
like this has happened throughout the years, that you're starting to see more. You're starting to see these efforts that everybody has made for so long of pushing this boulder uphill. It's finally gaining momentum, and we're getting there. So, I mean, it takes a while. It does take a while to actually get these plans in place, and law of familiarity start coming through. And first, initially, it always seems like everybody's like, nope.
Yeah.
To whatever idea, and that's fine. But, getting used to it, play with it, go with it, and then things happen.
Yeah, trees are coming back. The lights, like I mentioned, there's a couple of alleys that are going to have like a plexiglass cover over them to make them more pedestrian accessible from parking lots around town. And I believe Alan Hirschfeld, who's the president of the Downtown Association at the meeting, even said they presented them with the idea of naming it the Canteen District.
Yeah.
The only downside I can see to it, and it's not even a downside because it will come to an end, is the construction. They are going to be redoing some of the streets. Is going to be construction equipment downtown, and that is going to be a hindrance to certain businesses or to traveling down there. But again, I would echo, be patient. It's going to take time, but once it's fully done, I think it's going to be something that the city hopefully will be very proud of.
I think we as residents need to be proud of it too. I mean, we look at Kearney, we look at all these other areas that have all these amazing downtowns, and we want them. Well, we have a group of people who are constantly working on it, and they're doing a good job. It's just, it needs to give time to come to fruition.
Well, and as I said, I went on Halloween night, my wife and I went to Lincoln to see Phantom of the Opera. Fantastic. It was
I was going to ask you about that.
mind-blowing.
Did the chandelier crash onto the stage?
No, it falls above the crowd. Like it drops to a certain point above the audience because in the show it's supposed to fall on the audience. And the set, I mean, this is all we'll get back to downtown here in a minute, my point, but the middle of the set was almost like a cylinder that rotated. So like it was kind of like a flat-sided cylinder. So you'd have one side that was supposed to be like the backdrop of the stage. And then if you're supposed to see what's going on in the play backstage, like there's one point where, minor spoiler, where Phantom hangs a stagehand as a warning. The stage, the middle of it rotates slightly, so you can see what's supposed to be happening on front of the stage, and you see what's back behind the stage. Then it would make a full rotation where Phantom is taking Christine on a catwalk, and then he walks down into basically the underground sewer, the underground swamp in which he lives. And yes, the catacombs, and stairs were coming out so they could walk down the stairs, and then they retracted back in. And then when you get to the Phantom's lair, this cylinder opens up to reveal his lair.
Wow.
So the set design was amazing. The performances, especially the Phantom and the actor escapes my name right, or his name escapes me right now, was amazing. I mean, it was just fantastic. And there was one point at the end where he's supposed to be very mad, and he's yelling at Christine to make a choice. And when he says that, it's time to make your choice, now is the point of no return, and he sings it, I'm not going to, but you could actually see spit flying from his mouth, he's giving that emotion, and he has to do that every single day.
Yeah.
Because it's traveling production for 2 weeks, and they strike and probably go to the next city, have a day off or something. I don't know how they do it. It was amazing.
You've obviously seen the movie.
Yes, with Gerard Butler. Sorry, go ahead.
But I always watch the movie because I love the book, because I read the book when I was a kid. Mm-hmm. And I've always wanted to go see it, but I've never had the opportunity.
See, I saw it once when I was in high school. The school choir, once a year, if you chose to, you could get the money to pay for a ticket. And then a bunch of parents will get their Suburbans together, or they might be able to use the school bus, just depends. But people from the choir can go down, and that's the first time I saw it in high school. And it was good, don't get me wrong, I mean, it was a great production, but it was done kind of old school, they had the backdrops that came down, and this one did have some of that, but they'd have the backdrops that came down, close the curtains, different kind of set design than this one had. This set design was just more modern, more technological. They had a backdrop that was basically an LCD screen. So there was a scene where they're supposed to be on a rooftop, and you could actually see clouds moving over the moon in the background. It was amazing. But yeah, I saw it in high school, and then I didn't see the movie for the longest time until my wife and I were dating, and it's one of her favorite stories, and she has the movie. And I feel bad, and I need to rewatch it, because I couldn't stop laughing at Gerard Butler. Because no matter what, he cannot cover his Scottish accent. Whatever movie he's in. Even the movies where they try to fake an American accent with him, it's so thick it just comes right through.
Yeah. He's so fucking hot, though.
But when he sings, he doesn't sing like the Phantom. He sings like Gerard Butler. He's just like, music of the night. It's very... Yeah. And his mouth just to the side, and it's and the only thing I could justify to her, because we were kind of talking about it, and I was upsetting her a little bit, and I'm like, you know what? Nowhere in the story, I've never read the book, but nowhere in the story does it say the Phantom is supposed to be this amazing opera singer. He's just the Phantom of the Opera, and he writes an opera later, and he wants things, he likes the performance, but nowhere does it say he's supposed to be this outstanding singer.
You would think, though, that he was, though.
You would hope.
Because he, trains Christina.
It's kind of like...
can't teach.
Yeah, those who can't do, teach. It's kind of like that line of thinking. Maybe he knows how to do it, but he can't do it. But he trains Christine to hit the notes and writes plays, and he's very musically talented. It's just he has no singing voice.
At least in the movie.
Not in the movie. Not really in the movie. Gerard Butler, if you ever see this, loved you in 300. You were great in Rock and Rolla, but...
That movie with Katherine Heigl.
What? That movie with who?
Katherine Heigl. Grey's Anatomy.
Yeah, I know who Katherine Heigl is, but I'm trying to think of the movie. I know which one you're talking about, but I can't think of what it's called. So, I don't know. Well, either way, great actor.
Yeah.
Not a great singer. Your voice is fantastic in the How to Train Your Dragon films. Love them. But so anyway, the point I was getting at.
He's in that?
Yeah. You've seen How to Train Your Dragon, right?
Yeah.
Okay. He's the chief. Hiccup's dad. Stoic.
Was See, I always like when I think of How to Train a Dragon, I think of Hiccup and the guy from She's Out of Your League.
Oh yeah, that guy. Yeah.
I love him.
No,
I love that movie.
He's stoic. Craig Ferguson, the former late night host, he is the blacksmith. I can't think of his name right now. So yeah, but yes, that's stoic. Next time you watch it, close your eyes and you'll hear it instantly. Anyway, so we stayed. The Leeds Center is just a couple blocks away from the Haymarket. We stayed at a hotel in the Haymarket.
We're going back to downtown now?
Yes, now we're going back to downtown. Something I told my wife is, while those buildings are bigger, clearly it's like they're built differently because they have basements and middle and top and all that. A lot of businesses are utilizing every level, including basement. They have like like walkways down, and people who've been in the Haymarket know what I'm talking about. That almost go under the sidewalk to where there's more businesses. There's like a hair salon down there. There's a great bakery.
There's a licorice place.
Yeah, there's a licorice place. There's bars and restaurants all over. There's boutiques. There's all sorts of things. There's marketing companies and accountants and all that. It's a business district. While we don't have the same kind of buildings and there is still limited space, I told her, like, there's no reason once downtown gets up and running and renovated and everything, there's no reason that these types of businesses can't relocate down there.
I agree.
Some of those buildings, like Shay was saying with the Paramount building, the one that the Vault is in, which I think I saw on their Facebook page, they're moving.
The Vault?
Mm-hmm. But they have 3 levels. All of those levels are being utilized.
Yeah.
There's the boutique and the tattoo shop. And I think once you really open up downtown and start doing renovations and making them up to code.
And you have the owners that care.
Mm-hmm. The Dixon building is another great example. The top floor has all sorts of office space in it. And it's really beautiful, and it's done in that old style with like the frosted glass and the pine wood framing and everything. There's no reason why businesses can't move down there.
Yeah.
And really make a go of it, even now, but specifically when the renovations are done and more people are drawn to it.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing, it's going to be a draw. People are going to want to go down there to see it, and then hopefully see what's down there.
Well, and I think and I've said this before, and you guys have all known this because we've both gone on about this topic many, many times. But we're finally getting those anchors down there that are actually good, that are going to keep people down there. That they are the reason that people go down there. The espresso shop, the Good Life, Tempura, Double Dips. Those are some great ones in and of itself right there as to why we go downtown. Mm-hmm. And again, I'll say it again, I would not go downtown as much as what I do if my gym was not down there.
Right.
I mean, having something like that where people are consistently, religiously almost going to that place every day, they're constantly looking at all the other businesses that are going on.
Yep, and the furniture stores, if you're shopping for furniture, they got Swans and then Erickson's.
Bruce's.
Huh? Bruce's. Sorry, Bruce's. Yeah. Hirschfeld's, obviously, men's clothing store, which, as we've talked about before, there seems to be a lack of, there are men's clothes in North Platte, don't get me wrong, but there's a lack of men's specific clothing stores, and they're the only one, really, that's specific to men's clothes.
Yeah.
And prom stuff. Good life. Great food, great atmosphere.
I finally ate there.
What'd you have?
The pulled pork macaroni and cheese pizza.
Oh, how was it?
Really good.
Last time I went, I had, I think it's called the Surf Sub. It's a burger with like lobster cream cheese on it.
Oh my!
It is so good, so good. And Mother of All Dragons is a good burger too.
I don't like lobster.
Oh, then go for the Mother of All Dragons. It's like spicy, but not like overly spicy. It's just got stuff with like a little kick, with like a sweet, spicy sauce, and so it's really good. It is a really good place to eat. And yeah, like you said, there's those anchors down there. There's still some empty storefronts, yes, but again, accountants, marketing firms, things of that, photographers, there is space there for those businesses.
Yep.
And yeah, I'm really excited to see what it looks like when it's finished.
Me too. I'm excited to see these changes. I'm excited to see the people, our community, get behind it and actually see what is down there and go down there and utilize it and partake in everything that's going on down there. So
yeah. Speaking of other changes to our community, we have a current sitting mayor, Dwight Livingston. There have been two candidates
Yep.
who've thrown their hat into the ring. Brandon Kohler, right? Yes, Brandon Kohler, and current Ward 3 Councilman Andrew Lee announced his candidacy for mayor as well. So 3 choices as it stands right now. So if you are not happy with the current administration, and I mean, we're not going to comment too much on, pleasure or displeasure at this point, but people who are wanting a change at the top in the city, you have a couple of options. You have some choices.
Which we can't always say that. We can't always say that we have a choice.
Right.
So the fact that we have a choice, I appreciate.
And more than just 1 or 2
Exactly.
people. Andrew has had history in city government, so you can kind of go back and take a look at his voting record as far as issues. He says he's going to run on the platform of recreation, housing, and jobs, which is, not to sound critical, but pretty standard stuff.
Yeah.
Brandon has kind of echoed the same thing. He wants to work on wages.
Wages.
Wages is a
I
big
find
one.
that one an interesting.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I can't say I disagree with him.
No, I don't disagree at all.
Exactly. But
and housing and things of that nature. And I'm sure as we get closer to election day, they'll put a finer point on it. Right now, it's just, hey, here's my platform. Here's what I'm running on. So I mean, it'll be interesting to see what happens next election if the incumbent wins, or if we have somebody new sitting in that mayor's chair, and then where we go from there.
well, and how many city councilmen are coming up for re-election, and which ones?
Yeah, that's true. And how many of those are going to seek re-election? I'm assuming all of them, because that's usually what happens.
Usually.
How many will not? How many will have somebody run against them? And I don't know. It's going to be interesting, I think, especially the state that our city is in currently, with so many hot button issues. Downtown, jobs, housing, golf course, recreation. I mean, there's a lot of things there that it's hard, and this is just not even, I mean, it's a bigger point is put on it nationally, but even locally, there's so much going on that you can almost forget about an issue or think it's gone, like the golf course. You may think that's settled. It is
only because
not.
it's winter and nobody plays golf in the winter.
Right? So nobody's talking about it right now. People are worried about jobs in downtown and housing. Obviously, it's winter. And they're rezoning, or there was talk of them rezoning a section on A Street for business to put gas station stuff. There are residents there that are against it because they're worried it'll bring in a bad element, because we all know only criminals put gas in their car. That bad element. So it'll be interesting to see the direction the city goes in, especially if there is new leadership.
Yeah.
And
who's going to come, for those city councilmen that are up for re-election, who's going to run against them, if anybody?
We'll have to see. We'll have to see what happens. It'll be an interesting time, especially with the issues that the city is facing and the changes that a lot of people want to see made. Stuff like downtown bringing in more business. Not only bringing in new population, but retaining the people that are here.
That's the big one right there.
Yeah.
Retaining them.
Mm-hmm. Making it so that somebody graduating high school either wants to stay or go off to college and come back. That's kind of a lifeblood of a small town. I mean, you'll always have people moving out and moving in, but people who love the community and want to come back and contribute to the community, that's what keeps towns like this going.
Yeah. Have you ever seen the census of like our population? And
It's been a while, but yeah.
It's just stagnant.
Yeah, it just kind of basically teeters on this one little line, that little narrow wavelength.
Why?
Well,
and there's so many theories, and I've been in so many think tanks where we sit there and we try to analyze it and see why we think and everything, but really, we can sit there and think about it all day, but I'd love to take an exiting poll almost, an exit poll of those people and be like, why are you moving?
Exactly. See, and that's the thing is, and we've said this before, on and off, Mike, when it comes to something like a population or jobs, wages, whatever, there's a million different answers, and none of them are necessarily wrong either. I mean, if you want to say it's because there's no good jobs here, you can make a fair argument for that.
Yeah.
That there's no housing here, that there's no opportunity here. You can make
jobs don't pay what they need to pay to even be able to survive here.
Exactly. You can make arguments for and against those, all of them. I mean, you can say, well, there's this job that pays a lot. Yeah, well, this job should pay a lot, and it doesn't.
I saw something the other day on Facebook. It said business was advertising for a job, and this was not here, but it is very indicative to what you find, is that they were required a master's degree. But guess how much they were paid? $15 an hour. You had a fucking master's degree, but you're only going to pay me $15 an hour? How am I going to pay my student loans back?
Yeah, and if you have a master's degree, that means you have mastered whatever you went to school for. At least that's what the piece of paper says. So you should be making more than 15. But then there's jobs also that you can get in entry level, making $14, $15 an hour with no experience, just on the job training,
exactly.
and you can progress to that $20, $30 an hour, depending on the job. So again, there's arguments that can be made to or for.
Absolutely.
Or for or against, and I think it's all an issue that we'll have to see where we go from here.
Yeah.
It's just, man, sometimes you just sit back and look around, and you and I, and I'll be honest, I mean, we try to be positive on this podcast, show North Platte in a positive light, but there's times you look around and you're like, fuck, man, should I go? Should I?
Yeah.
But then there's the other half of you that's like, but things are changing, and what am I doing to help change it?
Yeah.
That's another thing you can kind of
I mean, that's
ask.
one of the reasons why we started this whole thing. Is
Exactly.
Because how else were we going to be able to change anything? I mean, granted, we've both been on boards, we've both been in different think tanks and all kinds of things, but...
Right. We both volunteered to do various things, and...
Tons of things.
Yeah. And there are certain people that are like us, that volunteer and that dabble in a lot of different pots, and then there's people that are hyper-focused on one thing. Both are fine.
We need both of them.
Yeah, but
Absolutely.
I would recommend people do that. And maybe it'll keep you off bitching on Facebook about how bad, air quotes, this place is. Speaking of which, I saw on somewhere, I can't remember where, somebody on Facebook weren't even open a week complaining about boomgars. Bombgars, whatever. Bombgars.
Whatever it is. I've not been in there, but I will tell you my neighbor has been in there,
Yeah.
and he goes, it's an amazing store.
Yeah,
And it's right up his alley. And my husband is going to be right up his alley, too.
We drove by it, and from what I could see from the door, just driving by it, before they opened, it was like that one day where they're like, we might open, we might not. They were kind of, we drove to see if they were open, and they weren't yet, but looking in the door, I saw chairs, I saw lawn equipment in there, men's coats, heavy, good work coats, things like that. This person was specifically complaining that there weren't enough women's clothes, specifically like nice women's clothes.
Go to a fucking mall!
Or one of the, 10 boutiques in town. But,
Women's clothes is not the thing that we really need the most of.
We just had Bow and Arrow, right? Bow and
Just
Arrow.
open!
Just opened downtown. Go check it out. For real, support a business. I just thought that was funny, and somebody in the comments was like, wasn't even open like a day under a week already, and like another person said that didn't take long.
Well, I think you or I would have had that same response.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, I'm staying out of this. I'm just gonna read the comments and eat my popcorn. You know what I mean? I'm Michael Jackson right now, just in the theater eating popcorn. And there were a lot of people though that did, I will say, came to the defense of the store. Like, they have this, they have this, they have this, and like one person said, it's basically a men's store, which yes and no. I mean, they have a lot of stuff that you could consider guy stuff, but like I said, yard, lawn equipment, that kind of stuff, those are homeowner needs, those are farmers' needs, ranchers' needs, men, women, doesn't matter. So yeah, I think I'm just interested to go and walk through and see what they have.
I just haven't had time.
Yeah,
I just need
been
to
busy.
go.
Right, especially with the holidays coming up. I hear they've got a hell of a lot of tools in there, hand tools and stuff. Everybody, everybody loses their 10 millimeter, myself included. I was looking for it the other day and I could not find it anywhere.
My son snatches all my husbands. And so then he puts them in his toolbox.
And it's crazy because years ago I worked in an auto shop and I did like light mechanic work. And it's not just now, and that meme, this is in the days before memes were memes, But it's just funny that everybody shares that one because that's the one that goes missing, and that's the one you always need. Like, these engineers sat around there like, make a 10 millimeter? Yeah, fuck, make a 10 millimeter. 10 millimeter work? Yeah, everything's 10 millimeter. But that's the one socket that disappears every time, and you're just like, and then you're sitting there thinking, what's the standard equivalent? So you're just like sitting there with sockets that in standard sizes, like, it's not a half. No, that's too big. You know, you're trying to get it so it just barely fits, but doesn't strip the knot.
Right.
Oh man, yeah. So 10 millimeters. I bet they've got like a bunch of them. Go get
Oodles
them.
of them.
Oodles of 10 millimeters. But yeah, I just think, and
We
now.
should go check and see.
Somebody would be smart to just make
a 10 millimeter sword.
A 10 millimeter socket set, like. Just a few
you get
different
40
sockets.
Of this one
yeah, 40 of 10 millimeters. And once they're out, your name goes on a registry, and you're not allowed to have 10 millimeters anymore. Because if you lose 40 of them, that's on you.
I could see that happening.
It could happen, especially in a busy shop or something like that. Oh, dude, yeah. Anyhow, so I would say definitely go check it out, though. I'm interested to walk through it and see what they have, and maybe they have a nice coat or something like that.
I hope they have a garden center in the spring.
Oh, I'm assuming they would. Or garden tools at least.
Yeah.
Pots. Yeah. So you never know. I mean, and they just opened. I mean, they literally just opened, and the holidays are coming. So all their holiday stock's going to start showing up here in the next week.
Or if not already there.
Yeah, because I mean, shit, man. Hobby Lobby had Christmas trees up in September.
Does that not piss you off?
Oh. Gives me a headache is what it does, because then it gets you stressing about Christmas is a stressful time as it is, and then it gets you stressing about it like, oh my gosh, we need to get people gifts, and then you just short out. And my thing is that people skip over Thanksgiving. I love Thanksgiving. It's one of my favorite holidays, and it just seems like people just skip right over it.
It does,
and it pisses me off. Like, it makes me so mad. I look forward to Thanksgiving more than I look forward to Christmas. So my house, like, there's a rule: tree does not go up until after Thanksgiving. It can go up on Black Friday, that's fine. But Thanksgiving Day is for the turkey and the Thanksgiving and the football and all that. Then we start thinking about Christmas.
I have the same rule. Like, I don't put up anything. My husband, on the other hand, I have no jurisdiction on the outside. I have full jurisdiction on the inside of the house.
Yeah. He
starts setting up Christmas decorations, like, as soon as there's a nice day. It's like, pull everything out and let's start putting it out. And our street's not like this where it used to be. Like, everybody used to decorate, and we decorate a lot.
Yeah.
Our electric bills goes up considerably. But, like, he's putting stuff out as soon as it's nice enough to do.
See, and we're kind of the opposite when it comes to decorating. We don't really decorate a whole lot outside. But inside we've got trees, wreaths, small trees, nativity, the stockings. The Christmas throws up in our living room. But we essentially, as far as the outside goes, we don't really string out a whole lot of lights and stuff outside.
We do. You guys will have to drive by.
Yeah.
Like, we even have, the blow-up dinosaurs, we have a ton of them. Like, we have, and my son and I have given them all names.
Yeah, okay.
Of course, because why wouldn't we? But we have a brontosaurus, we have a stegosaurus, we have a T-Rex, and they all are around the big tree, and one of the dinosaurs is tearing lights off, another one's tearing up. Like, there's a whole scene that goes with it. Like, it's very thought out.
Did you see, I think it was last year or the year before, and I kind of want to do this now. There was a woman, I can't remember where, she had inflatable dragons in her yard with, like, Santa hats and stuff on them.
Here now?
No, it was somewhere else, but it made national news because what happened is this woman had like 3 or 4 dragons up in her yard, and somebody, of course, some Karen in the neighborhood, wrote a letter about how this is disrespectful to the holiday and just yada yada, and it's demonic and satanic and all this crap.
It's a dragon.
Yeah, exactly. So
it's mythical.
The woman basically responded by saying, like, not everybody adheres to those beliefs. This is how I choose to decorate. Well, then what happened is people in her town found out about this and started giving her more. She said, this actually inspires me to put up more. And there were people, like, showing up with inflatable dragons to put in her yard.
I would do something like that.
I absolutely would do something like that.
Like, okay, Karen.
Yeah. I mean, the inflatable thing, I think the advent of those is really cool because then you don't have a bunch of like cardboard, or not cardboard, but plywood that you have to repaint and worry about getting scratched and take up space in the garage.
Yeah.
And I'd have
the
some in my yard,
inflatables
but
take up plenty of room.
oh, I'm sure they do, but I mean, you don't have like a nativity set you have to like break down every year and reconstruct, and you know
True.
what I'm saying?
True.
And I'd have some in my yard. We just don't. We just haven't yet.
God, we have so many. So many.
Yeah. Well, I couldn't.
My husband
have that
goes insane with it. Like,
but at least you gave him jurisdiction of the outside. You have the
he
inside.
gets
That's a good
jurisdiction.
compromise.
Yes.
It
He
is.
gets jurisdiction on the outside. I have inside.
Yeah, we basically, my wife goes nuts when it comes to the decorating. She's in charge of all that. But just, that's my rule. Like, once Thanksgiving's over, that whole day, go nuts. Whenever you want to put up the tree, we'll do it. But please not until then. So,
I don't decorate much, actually.
yeah.
I don't.
I grew up in a house that decorated a lot at Christmas, too. So I'm used to it. I'm used to wreaths and crap just everywhere.
The one thing I do miss is like my home, the home I grew up in back in Wyoming, we have huge cathedral ceilings. And so we always had a really, really giant tree. And I wish my house had the cathedral ceiling so I could have a really big tree. It's the only thing I really miss.
Yeah, we had, for the longest time, I mean, not as a kid, but as an adult, the small tree that you could put on a table or whatever. And then finally we were just like, you know what, let's just get a really good artificial tree. And it's lasted us, 5-6 years at this point. So, but it's about 6 foot tall. I mean, it's a decent tree. But yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to putting it up, just not yet.
So, okay, since we've decided anti-Christmas before Thanksgiving.
Yep.
What is your favorite dish of Thanksgiving? I mean, because everybody has so many different traditions when it comes to Thanksgiving. Some people do macaroni and cheese.
Right.
Everybody has their own special stuffing recipe, or they use the box. I do not.
Yeah.
As you can tell, I'm a very much from scratch cooker. Like, I cook from scratch.
We're half and half at my house. Like, there's certain things we'll do from scratch, and then there's certain things like, screw it, just go get a box or go get a pie crust. It's just easier.
I do the pie crust thing.
Yeah,
I do that. It's just easier.
I would have to say it's a toss-up, but it has to be, I would say turkey, of course, the turkey, but there has to be mashed potatoes and gravy with it. So they're both equal in my eyes. All that is equal in my eyes, and so that is, yeah, I'd say that's my favorite, is the turkey or mashed potatoes and gravy, but they're so equal that they have to be together as one.
For me, we have a sweet potato casserole that my aunt has made forever that I don't ever remember not having. It is not Thanksgiving to me if I do not have that. I have to have that.
Right.
And then green bean casserole, I could live without that sometimes, but for the most part I want that. But the other thing is my great-grandmother's stuffing.
Okay.
Which was passed down to me, that recipe. So I will make that regardless.
Right.
So those are the things I have to have. I have to have my stuffing and the sweet potato casserole. And I don't do freaking yams with freaking marshmallows all over me. Ugh.
See, my mom does that, and
Nope.
my wife makes a sweet potato casserole with the brown sugar and pecans.
That's what
on
we
it.
do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So, and that's kind of taken over the marshmallow sweet potatoes.
That's why I hate the marshmallows. And there's a fucking fly. Jerome,
Always. Every time.
I did not get it.
Our stuffing recipe was passed down from my great-great-uncle Stovetop. So, that's how we roll the stuffing. But a new thing that has started just in the last 5 years. We were putting together Thanksgiving sides because we had to bring like a couple sides, and I decided to make a pecan pie because I love pecan pie.
That's Michael's favorite too.
Yeah. And I decided to make one year, and I've never done it before, and now that's become the tradition. Like, everybody wants me to make a pecan pie. I don't know what I do differently. I just follow the recipe, but apparently it's really good. So I'm looking
homemade.
forward to
I'm
doing
sorry,
that.
but if it's homemade, it's always better.
It
do
is.
you even do like pie crust, or do you make that from scratch as well?
It depends on if we're crunched for time and that kind of stuff. My wife will make pie crust from scratch because she makes. There's other pies that might get made that she needs more than just one pie crust for. So she'll make a bunch and then we'll, put them in the plates and all that. There has been times in the past though where we've just kind of run out of time or we're just really busy. We don't have time to do all of that. We'll go down and get a frozen pie crust. I prefer it with the homemade pie crust, but
it is
it's
better. But you have to have somebody who, and your wife must do a fantastic job at it.
Yeah.
You have to have somebody who really knows how to make that pie crust very, very well from scratch. Otherwise, they don't. A lot of them. I've tasted some that are not good. My grandmother, she makes excellent pie crusts. I make them. No.
Yeah,
Turn out like shit.
my wife's pretty good at it.
Cardboard.
Yeah, she's pretty good at making pie crust, but she takes her time to make it to make sure that it's right. And that's why sometimes we just don't have time. It's like we got to get going, or we have so many people coming and so much food to make that it's like just get a frozen one and I'll throw. And they turn out about the same. My pecan pie, I have an issue getting it to stand up. It's a little runny.
Oh.
You know what I mean? You cut into it. The first time I made it, and I'm not going to give away any of my secrets or not. The first time I made it was really runny. It was basically like a pecan pudding. Wasn't great. The next time I made it, I tweaked a couple things in the recipe, and it stood up a little bit better. But I don't get that good, like, gelatinous. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's a little bit runny, but still, put some ice cream on it. Hell yeah.
I'm not a very good baker. I will admit, I'm not.
Pretty good at it.
I'm not. I've had an angel food cake blow up in my oven before.
Oh, good lord.
Like, the cake was from a box, so a lot of people are like, oh, did you put the right ingredients? Yes, I put the right goddamn ingredients in. It was from a fucking box.
The ingredients are on the box.
It was already pre-measured. I didn't do anything wrong. It just blew up in my oven.
Yeah, baking is one of those things that I just recently started really getting into. I'm okay at it, but I'm definitely one of those follow the instructions. I'm not one of those people that like just knows how much cinnamon to put into something.
See,
I will screw it up every time. If you give me the recipe, I can use them as guidelines and veer outside a little bit here and there. But for the most part, I'm not one of those people that's like, this needs nutmeg. No, I'm not. I have to have it written out for me, and then I can go from there.
Yeah, I'm just not very good at it.
No,
Weird
I'm not
things
either.
happen. Like my cookie dough doesn't, and it turns green or something. I don't know. I'm just not very good at it.
Yeah,
I'm really not.
I enjoy baking.
I am a fantastic cook, though. I'm very good at that.
See, I'm not very good at cooking, but I'm good at baking. So,
Cook. I think this year, instead of the turkey, or in combination with the turkey, I want to do prime rib for Thanksgiving.
ooh, that sounds good. We did that one year. It was really good. We have 2 Thanksgivings to go to. So I know one of them is going to be traditional because it's my mom's and she's very traditional when it comes to Thanksgiving, so it'll be turkey and stuff. The other one is going to be a little less traditional. I was told they're having braised heart, whatever that is.
It's a heart.
Oh, I know, but apparently it's braised, whatever that is. I don't know, but I guess it's an old family tradition. My mother-in-law. It's an old family tradition from that side.
Like from a cow?
I would hope so, because there's going to be a few of us. Like, I don't know how big a cow's heart gets. It might be a couple of them. I mean, I don't know. I hope that it's not like, where'd the heart come from? Well, Bill. I hope it's not one of those things.
Found a deer on the side of the road.
Right?
Kind of like roadkill, I guess you could say.
You're just kind of looking around like, why is there an empty chair here? Why is my brother-in-law not here yet? Or is he here on my plate? No.
That counts as one of the weird ways to die.
Oh, God, yes. Being sacrificed so that we can eat your heart at Thanksgiving. That's not a tradition I want to start in my
Uncool,
family.
Rabbit. Uncool.
Yeah. Not cool at all. But yeah, that's what my wife told me that today. That they're doing that, and I guess it's something they used to do when she was a kid. They used to make it on Thanksgiving, and then kind of went a little bit more traditional as time went on. But I mean, I'll try it. There's going to be enough other crap there, and that's the thing about Thanksgiving. If there's something you don't like, it's okay.
Yeah.
There's enough dishes there that you can eat whatever, so.
Yeah, there's usually more than enough.
I'm going to have to try it so that my kids do. It's that kind of thing. You don't know if you like it until you try it. So I'm going to have to try it so that they'll take a bite and see if they like it. And if I don't, then I'm going to have to pretend like I do so that they eat theirs.
But if they don't like it, here's my thing. If you don't like it, it's kind of okay if they don't like it.
Yeah, no, that's true. I mean, I'll try it. I just have to get out of my mind what it is. I have to look at it like it's prime rib or something. I mean, I know
there's a lot of people that say heart is very good.
Yeah, and I've heard the same thing, and I know it's edible. It's just the getting it around wrapping your mind around it.
It would be like tongue.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody says tongue is amazing too. People who eat it, I shouldn't say everybody, because the majority of people.
I've never eaten tongue.
I've never eaten tongue either.
I don't want to eat tongue. I've never had Rocky Mountain oysters.
Oh, you haven't?
No, because I found out what they were before anybody tricked me into the here, have these.
No, they're good.
I won't eat them. I won't, because I've also used to work in a restaurant and I've seen what an undercooked one looks like.
Oh God.
And
well, okay, wait a second. I've seen them lopped off fucking steer and thrown into a pan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I just can't.
I've done it myself.
I can't. I just can't. And it's the same thing with this heart. Like, if she hadn't have told me it was heart, I'd probably just go nuts and eat it and be like, this is amazing.
And then they would have told you, like...
Well, no, they'd have told me and I'd been like, oh, wow. But now it's the idea that I'm going in eating heart,
The thing that literally kept something alive.
Well, technically, I mean, anything you eat from an animal is kind of keeping it alive.
This is true.
Yeah. I mean, they're not like we're eating brain. Gross.
Some people do.
I know some people do. I'm not some people.
Cow's disease, though.
And that's why we're not eating cow brain.
Yeah.
At all.
I just don't think that sounds appetizing.
It just doesn't. Ugh. Reminds me of that scene from Temple of Doom.
I was gonna say Hannibal.
Oh yeah, Hannibal. Ooh. Good. Now I remember that scene. Thank you so much. Well, I really didn't plan on sleeping tonight anyway. Just crazy Ray Liotta getting his head lopped off, top of his head, and eat his own brain. I fed it to him. Fed his own brain to him.
Lobotomy style.
God. Now, you know what? Putting it in perspective, heart don't sound so bad. Clean that shit. So, but yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on soon, upcoming holidays.
Christmas break's gonna be coming
Christmas
up.
break's coming up, Thanksgiving break, New Year's. I'm sure there's going to be a ton of stuff going on, even though it's the middle of the week.
A lot of people don't start thinking about New Year's until after Christmas, and there's only a week span, so.
Yeah, so when it comes to New Year's, I mean, and it's on a Wednesday, but most people have that first day of the year off anyway, so.
To get unhung over.
Yeah, to get unhung over and then go back to work on Thursday. Or if you got
Friday, and then have another 2 days off.
Yeah, so if you got the vacation time, just take it off. Just ring in 2020 with a 4-day party.
Isn't that crazy that we're now heading into another decade?
It is. 2020. Like, this is the decade coming up that the movies when we were kids would be like, look at what the future's going to look like.
They're going to have flying cars.
Robots doing everything. And to some extent, some of that's true.
Yeah. They do vacuum for us.
Yes, they do vacuum for us. They do, a lot of warehouse work for us. As far as being indistinguishable from humans, okay, let me back up for a second here and just say that I do not own one of these and I did not look into this, or I did not Google this. Here's how I know this.
I know what you're going to go into.
Whitney Cummings, comedian Whitney Cummings, had a Netflix special. And have you seen it?
I think I have.
Okay. Well, when I say the end of it, you'll know if you've seen it when I talk about the end. Near the end of it, she brings out a custom sex robot that was modeled after her. It doesn't look exactly like her, but they do have the facial features, the hair.
Okay, I have not seen this one.
And it is creepy.
So there's been like a number of documentaries done on these type of things. or segments of documentaries, because they're going into like robots. And obviously, this is one that they always have a tendency to go into, because for those creepy people who ever get laid, obviously there's a robot that can do that for them. But, and then there's some who have that fantasy and that fetish, which fine, if that's what you have to do.
Well, and that's something too that she talked about on Joe Rogan's podcast and in interviews with it, because for the longest time when she was promoting this comedy special, she would bring the robot with her to like Tonight Show and stuff. She did a lot of research on it because she automatically thought it was creepy dudes or dudes with a fetish, but she said some guys who buy them are like men who were married for like 30 years and their wife died, and they're like, I can't see myself with another human being, but I miss having companionship of some kind.
I can see that.
Or people who've been disfigured in some kind of an accident or something like that. They still have needs.
Yeah.
So she said, you know, there were definitely those creepy people, but there were also people that she was like, it changed her opinion of the type of people that buy these. But this thing can have a conversation, not a conversation like we're having, but it can answer basic questions. It talks, it looks around, it's interesting to me that those are the robots that we made the most lifelike before we made like police bots, period. Like we don't even have firefighting robots, but we have a robot that'll hook you up. Yeah. So it shows.
It's an interesting perspective.
It is an interesting perspective.
Okay, speaking of Joe Rogan.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So I was listening to one, and they were talking about Epstein, whatever his name is, Clinton's, the guy that
Epstein. Oh
yes.
My God. How much time do we have? Because I know you're. I have so. Go ahead.
It's just interesting, like the whole thing. Like, there's a whole conspiracy. Like, and I get it. Like, it does kind of like seem a little odd.
You know, I think the new medical examiner who came out and said that his injuries were more consistent with homicide.
Strangulation, yes.
On top of all the other weird stuff, guard not being on duty, cameras not working, taking off suicide watch, cellmate reassigned, all of those things obviously made people raise an eyebrow. Then when the medical examiner was like, yeah, this is consistent with homicide, that raised both eyebrows. Now what's jaw-dropping is the news coming out about ABC in regard to this.
Oh, I haven't heard. What did they say? I haven't seen this yet.
Okay, so Amy...
Because I was just listening to Joe Rogan about
Amy Warback. And I suggest you look into this because it is... And I'm surprised. You may have seen it on your news feed on Facebook or something and not clicked on it. Because you're just like, the Epstein meme is everywhere. So you're like, oh...
There's lots of them, too.
And that's what I thought. Like, the first day the news broke, I'm just like, okay, whatever, Epstein, this, that, the other thing. Apparently... Amy Warback, who is one of the anchors on Good Morning America on ABC, on a hot mic, she was not on air, but her microphone was on, was talking to people around her, other reporters, and I think one of the guests, about how they had this story 3 years ago. That somebody came forward, I can't think of the victim's name, that they flew out to New York and put them up in a hotel, keeping their identity secret, did an interview, picture evidence. She said, in there, she said, we had everything. Like, they had everything on him. Clinton, Prince Henry, I think it is. Like, she was naming names to these people.
Harry?
Prince Henry. Or Harry. No, not Harry, Henry. Prince Henry.
Oh, okay. Okay, I know what you're talking about.
But she said Clinton, Prince Henry, and they buried it. The executives at ABC would not let her run the story. Part of it is because if the news came out about the prince, they were worried that they would not let ABC interview William and Kate. And this was about 3-ish years ago with Baby and all that. They buried all this. And you could see it in her face that she is not making it up. She's upset. Whether she's upset that justice wasn't done, or whether she was upset that she was a journalist who didn't get to break the story, because that's what journalists want to do, break the story.
But then you do have those ones that are absolutely like, this needs to be out there, who have like this conviction within inside them that is constantly like, no, this needs to be out. It goes back to kind of like, okay, House of Cards, the journalists in those circumstances who are like, no, we're gonna break this. Other ones are like, we're gonna fucking get you because I know you're a liar.
Apparently the executives at ABC, she had all the stuff that came out, all the names, all the connections, everything. According to her, or according to how it sounds, she had all of it. And the execs at ABC said, no.
Why?
We're burying the story.
See, that's the whole thing.
When you start looking into it, those executives, some of those executives had ties to Jeffrey Epstein. They were on his plane. They went to his island. They were in his hotel, in his apartment for fundraisers and so on and so forth. He goes deep. I mean, get fitted for your tinfoil hat. If you decide to go down this rabbit hole, and I've been going down the rabbit hole a little bit for a couple of days.
I apparently need to go down the rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Because I love conspiracy theories.
Dude,
I don't think this is a conspiracy theory, though. The more that I'm finding out, like, and I just know, like, the tip of it, I'm just like, no, this is weird. This is weird.
Project, the ones who broke the audio, because somebody from ABC leaked the audio to Project Veritas. And not only audio, video. Like, she's on camera, like we are here talking to somebody, and her microphone's on and catches all her saying. We had all this information, all this stuff. But Project Veritas broke the story. So they had an insider give them the video. My whole thing on that is, do you still have it? Like, you say you had it.
Was it destroyed?
Was it destroyed? Like, if you still have it, you can still release that, because there are people who their names are involved in all that.
Here's my question, I guess. Because if you are a journalist for an entity like that, the stuff that you actually get is not necessarily yours.
True.
Because you don't, it's the same thing with photographers. If you go out and they send you an assignment, those aren't your photos.
Right, they're belong to the newspaper. Right.
They could have taken that and then just destroyed it.
They could have, but whoever she got it from probably still has that stuff. I mean, I don't know. I mean, if you're going to go on that...
If they're not dead.
If you're going down this rabbit hole, get fitted for your tinfoil hat, because it's going to take you places where you're just going to be like, you're going to be questioning billionaires, government, Disney. You know what I mean? Because Disney is the parent company of ABC, so you got to wonder how high up did it go, this cover-up, and who was involved and who was connected to Epstein in one way or another. It's interesting. It's crazy to think, and I said this during the 2016 election. We live in a time now where there's so many whistleblowers, so many leakers, so many independent journalists, people like Tim Pool and Jimmy Dore and YouTube and all that. You can't get away with anything. Your corruption will come out eventually.
Eventually. But the whole thing is will people even believe it? Because now everybody's like, well, I'm skeptical of this. Or they are doing nothing but believing the talking heads all over TV.
And that, I know, so it's one of those,
because
like,
you constantly have one saying this, another one saying this. I mean, it's the typical Fox and CNN and whatever.
See, if this recent leak about what Amy Rohrabach said, if it was just an article, I probably wouldn't believe it. And a lot of the time when I see stuff on Facebook, I fact check it before I read it. I'll Google the website. I'll look at the website to make sure that it's a legit one, all that. But if it was just an article or somebody saying, I have her saying this, that's one thing. But when you can watch a video of her sitting there speaking those words into a microphone, that's when you're like, okay, she clearly and you see the expression on her face and stuff. I mean, some people are good at lying, but I don't think she is. I think she had all this stuff, and they buried it for whatever reason.
I mean, things like this happen all. You're naive if you as a person do not believe that this kind of shit happens. Like, things get buried, and that there's people connected all over the things to nasty, nasty shit.
I mean, if you take everything at face value, especially stuff that happens with the government and the quote-unquote elites of our society, then I got, oceanfront property in Arizona. You know what I mean? Like that. It's, I don't know. We'll see what comes out here, who's involved.
Okay, here's the whole deal, though. Let's say somebody comes out and says, okay, it's true. now what?
See,
Nothing.
exactly.
Nothing.
That's the thing I keep coming back to is if it's all true, and what are you gonna do? What are we like? Let's just say it wasn't America because everybody wants to assume it was the Clintons. Let's say it was the Queen because the prince is involved and all that, and she decides to
Say
send
it's the Vatican.
the Vatican. It could be the Vatican. It could be just some random billionaire who's like, I got the means to take this dude out. I'm going to do that. Or it could be a conglomeration of all of them.
Vatican.
The Queen, the Clintons,
The Clintons.
or somebody else in government, Hillary,
Kennedys.
the Kennedys, people in power. I mean, this guy's, I guess, was linked to so many of the world's elites, again, most powerful people in politics and in business, that it could be any one or all or who knows who it could be.
Okay, and so here's the other thing.
What are you going to do?
Exactly, what are you going to do? These people have more money than God, and let's say you want to prosecute them. They're going to fight you for years, and they have tons of money, so it's not going to bother them.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to waste more money on us than anything.
Or they pull an Assange or a Snowden. And, I mean, if the charges are here in America, because they are, because that's where he was killed, then what? Then, I'll just take my billions and go live in an embassy somewhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you tell me the Russians won't have a billionaire living in the embassy? Or, I mean, or they have the money to disappear, or they have the money to just buy
whomever off.
And if you're at that level and you hire a hitman, it's not going to be some crazy crackhead down the street for $20. It's going to be somebody who is good enough to get into a maximum security facility and take this guy out, or multiple people along a chain of nobody's talking. You know what I mean? And what evidence do they have? The camera, no guards, no witnesses, no nothing.
Shit like this
They
happens.
got fucking nothing.
Okay, so I don't even know if you want to go down this road. This is like when I start saying this, people look at me like I'm fucking insane.
Go ahead.
I don't think this could be the whole thing like with Bin Laden. Okay, I don't think we killed Bin Laden. At least not
I'm
right.
pretty sure he's dead.
He's dead now, but I don't think he was dead when we captured him.
You think that they captured him?
Why the fuck would you let somebody like that actually die when you could extract all the information? They had to, in my opinion, they had to say that they killed him. Okay, we never saw any pictures of him actually dead. Okay,
There was no body.
No body. Because
Dumped him in the ocean.
Dumped him in the ocean, apparently, supposedly.
Which I think happened. I think either scenario, either they killed him, brought him, dumped him in the ocean, or they captured him, got information from him, and dumped him in the ocean. I think they got rid of the body in the ocean. You'll never find it. That's just my opinion.
I think they took him to a black site and extracted tons of information. Because every other terrorist that we killed, we have pictures, except for him.
Good point.
Every single one.
Again, you're talking about the most powerful people in the world.
Exactly.
And what are we going to do? Citizens arrest? I mean, it's nice to think about justice, and in a way, justice was done. I mean, the guy was running what some people are thinking is the largest pedophile ring in the world, in history, too, in human history. But I mean, you're not going to take the Queen to court for murder. It's not going to happen. So, I think people want. I think people want the truth. No, I think they want the truth because everybody wants the truth, but we're never going to get it.
Who wants the truth? We as the people? Because does that really matter?
People want the truth, but no, it doesn't. Because again, what are you going to do with that truth?
Nothing.
And even if we had that truth, I mean, we're powerless to stop what just happened.
Yeah.
I mean, it happened, and we're powerless to stop the people who did it. See, I saw somebody talking online when the story first broke and the first wave of Epstein didn't kill himself, stuff was happening. Somebody was talking about none of the guards, I mean, it would be easy to catch them because the guards have a large sum of money in their account or, whatever, that they got paid off. Here's my thing. If I were the Queen or had access to the CIA or whatever, and I was going to have somebody assassinated. If I'm going to go as far as to have somebody assassinated in their cell in a maximum security prison, I'm a ruthless motherfucker to begin with. You don't have to pay those guards. You just walk up to them and show them pictures of, here's where your wife goes to Pilates every Tuesday. Here's where your kids go to school. Here's where your mother gets her hair done. Do you want them to continue living this life, or do you want to put them in the ground? Look the other way.
Yep.
And if this ever comes out, again, here's where your wife goes grocery shopping every Wednesday.
Yep.
Here's where your kid's karate class is. I mean, there are ways to get, other than money, there are ways to get what you want. Blackmail, threats.
Guard comes in.
or a new guard comes in, or this group of guards, or it could be one of those things like, this is a number that is in an account that is elsewhere. When you retire, you move to Fiji, and
who's to say?
You know what I mean?
Like, okay, the prison that he was in. Who's to say that there weren't already guards working for whomever?
And that's possible too. That's possible too.
Let's think about that.
Yeah.
If you were a person in high power and you had access to MI6, CIA, whatever it may be, why wouldn't you actually place people there?
Exactly.
To be able to get rid of particular people that maybe caused havoc or could create waves.
I mean, it wouldn't be hard to talk to a warden who has political aspirations. I'm not saying that this warden does, but we're going deep down the rabbit hole on this. Wouldn't be hard to call up.
It's bad because you and I can go very deep rabbit holes like this.
Wouldn't be hard to call up that warden of that prison and say, you know, you want to be a senator one day. I can pull those strings for you if you pull the strings specifically to those security cameras.
Yeah.
And you pull I mean, everybody's, but that's the thing is, the corruption, the manipulation from our government, from officials, from elites is on full display because we have the internet, we have the world at our fingertips, in our pockets. But it's also that thing, like, I sometimes wonder if the people in power, and this can go left, right, center, royal, whatever, the elites, the people in charge, Illuminati, whatever you want to call it. I sometimes wonder if they're daring people to fucking revolt. Like, the stuff that starts coming out in the news these days, especially this, if you find out he was murdered, who's connected, a media outlet had the evidence and it was suppressed, all this stuff. They're sitting back in their throne and they're on their high place going, yeah, okay, so what are you going to do about it?
Yeah.
Like, it's
and
to
what's
a point
going
now.
to happen? House of Cards. Again, if you have not seen, have you ever seen it?
I have not yet.
Oh my God, Jerome!
I have not yet.
You need to watch it.
I know I do.
Because you will be like, fuck.
I know I do. I know I do. I know I do.
It's scary shit.
We're just about done with Hell on Wheels. So once that's done, we'll probably start binging House of Cards. But that's the thing. Like, all these conspiracy, and it goes far back. Area 51, Kennedy assassination. I mean, the list can go on and on. DIA, I've heard those conspiracies. Shit, Sioux Lookout. There's another.
How?
You've never heard of the stuff at Sioux Lookout?
No. Is this okay? This is bordering on folklore.
Okay, no, yes. Sioux Lookout is bordering.
Not conspiracy.
Folklore, but I mean the conspiracy is
like the spaceship alien thing?
No.
Okay, keep going.
No, that it's a place of
Gateway to Hell.
Yes, Gateway to Hell.
Okay, I have heard this.
Yeah.
I think you told me this.
I'm pretty sure I did. There's another, conspiracies at every level. Everybody has their conspiracy theories, but it's getting to a point now where conspiracy theories are going to be on full display, and depending on the level of power you have,
Look
it's
at
almost
9/11.
like a dare.
Look at 9/11.
There's so many conspiracies wrapped around in that.
Right?
God, we could go on and on.
We could do an entire show just on this.
I think they're getting ready to close, though.
They are.
Yeah, so we should probably close this down before we say something that
Gets us
a call from a number in DC and just hangs up.
Sends us pictures.
Yeah.
Of where her husband and her wife shop, work.
Yeah, exactly.
So, One of the funniest memes I've seen about this whole thing is a deer dead on the road that said he had information on the Clintons.
We'll have to see. I'm kind of following this one just to see how far up the ladder it goes, how deep the rabbit hole goes, and we'll see. I mean,
I'm intrigued.
I've been in the he didn't kill himself camp from day one. And that's something else this Amy Rohrbach said. She's like, I don't believe he killed himself. Like she says it on the. Seek out that video. It's all over. But
I will.
But anybody listening, Project Veritas are the ones who broke that video. So check it out there, I guess. And thank you for checking out North Platte in a nutshell. We are going to take off and hide. We're not telling you where we're going. Home. But I'm not giving you the address. Ha government. In the meantime,
already know it.
I know, right? Fucking U.S. Postal Service. In the meantime,
Google Maps.
contact us on our Facebook page, on the Insta at npnutshell, or you can email us npnutshell@gmail.com.
Yes.
All right, we are going to very, very cautiously, looking behind our backs, take off.
And put on tinfoil hats.
Tinfoil hats, yes. I'm going to the store right now, actually. Get the Reynolds Wrap, the good, thick, industrial stuff.
I think I have that already.
Have a good one.